Okay, RPGRules status effects. I'm going to have a quick look at the family of status effects which are called explodables. So that's like, first one we'll do is explosion. So an explosion by itself doesn't really do anything. You have to specify a power area, and it basically just makes that power area go off at the end of the projectile, or where the power detonates or whatever. So here's a very obvious use of it. The red ray will stick an energy explosion on the end and let it rip. There we go. Red ray, boom. Now does this energy electrical explosion whenever it hits the target. A little bit misleading. Those beams are actually just part of the explosion. There. What else can we do? What else can we tack on the end of there? We can have an arc. Status arc. And there we specify a power beam. So we could say energy bolt. And stick that on the end of the red ray. The arc there. And it will now arc to a nearby target when we hit. Let's see, do we have any nearby targets? No, that's a problem, isn't it? So I'll just find that test dummy. Is that him? Yep. And make a copy. There we go. And it should now arc from one to the other, I think. Yep. Like that. Yeah, so that's great for electrical power, the same way they arc from one target to the other. We also have shrapnel. You can see a pattern here. Shrapnel has a projectile. So let's make that slightly odd looking one, stun grenade. And we can stick that shrapnel on the end of the red ray. And it should now pop a stun grenade out. Yep, I think it didn't. I think the stun grenade got consumed immediately. That's what I'm seeing. Let's just try it on something down here. Oh yeah, and the stun grenade bounces off there. And goes off, yeah. So that's nice for example for a fireball which sort of spawns a few more bouncing fireballs out of it. And so on. And finally we have the spawn one. Status spawn there. Which calls a PowerSummon. And let's see, one of the common ones I use that for is a fire patch. So we can take the red ray, put a spawn inside it as a status effect, and it will now create a little fire patch on the ground. It'll spawn a new entity when we fire it off. Yep, there we go. There's a fire patch now that's signified to those robots slowly cooking them. Yep, so they're all different status effects where you can put another power on the end of the power that you had in the status effect 2. There was one last one, I think, one little detail I think I skipped over there with arcs. You've got a range and an arc condition, so you can say that the arcs will basically look for a nearby target. The other ones just kind of let rip at random. But the arc will basically look within 5 meters for a target who satisfies this condition. So you could say, you know, it's only going to arc to targets who are wet, or something like that. Or it's only going to arc to targets that have another status effect on them, and so on and so on. You know, we'll cover that in the conditions tutorial a bit more. As well as the obvious sort of examples I've shown there, you can do things like the explosion doesn't need to be a damage explosion. You know, you could have a direct power that hits and it fires off an explosion that debuffs everyone nearby to get an area debuff. You could have an area effect where every target that gets hit fires off a buff that buffs enemies nearby, like City of Heroes' old Fulcrum shift in the Kinetics power set, for example. So there's quite a lot you can do with these when you sort of have a think about it. But that's explosion, shrapnel, arc, and spawn. Where did spawn go? Spawn there. All of which cause another power to happen as part of a status effect.